Let's reflect on 2024. Hi everyone, my name is Will. I'm a volunteer here on board the Steamship Shieldhall based in Southampton. As we come to the end of 2024, it's time for us to look back on the year we've just had. See where we've done well, see where we need to have our attention for the future. And speaking of the future, we can also talk about what 2025 has in store for the ship. I'm not really meant to reveal this early in the video, but we have got a lot planned for 2025. You guys stay tuned and I'll tell you about it in a little bit. Shh.
But before we dive into how well we did this year, let's have a look at some of the notable cruises. First of all, we had 2 all-new cruises. The first one being to sail to see the Solent ports, and the second one sailing to a brand new destination, sailing up the River Medina on the Isle of Wight. Definitely a tight squeeze, but nonetheless a resounding success for the Steamship Shieldhall. Other notable cruises we had this year included our very first cruise, going out and seeing the Queen Anne depart on her maiden voyage in a bright shower of fireworks. Other notable cruises included our D-Day at 80 weekend, on the Saturday sailing to Leap, and on Sunday sailing down to the naval heart of Portsmouth.
So right now, the Steamship Shieldhall charity accountants are finalising the end of year figures to see just how well we've done in 2024. However, at this point, there are a few things that we can reveal. First thing we can reveal is our volunteer base has grown. Now, to some that may not sound relevant, but the National Lottery Heritage Fund has put it best. Skills required to conserve and restore industrial heritage collections, such as the Steamship Shieldhall, are at risk. By having more hands on board the Steamship Shieldhall, all of these different and new people from various and unique backgrounds will be able to bring with them all of these incredible and unique and brand new skills, all of which will play their individual key parts in the protection and the upkeep of our beautiful steamship here. The next bit of good news is in 2024, ticket sales saw record highs. This news speaks for itself. We are incredibly happy with this, and we're hoping that in 2025, we can keep those ticket sales high. Somewhere else we did well in 2024 was food sales. Our catering team tried out a completely new menu, and not only was it an overwhelming success, but it resulted in a significant rise in food sales and profits resulting from just food sales on its own. Now, another thing that's up in 2024 are the number of alongside events here at Berth 110 in Southampton. Now, we on board love alongside events because not only can we show the ship off to all of our wonderful, wonderful guests, but we don't have to take on board any of the operating costs for taking the ship out to sea, even though we love taking the Shieldhall out to sea. Some of these costs, for example, are burning through tons and tons of fuel over a few days just to warm up the boilers. But that does beg the question, what sorts of events can the Steamship Shieldhall host when she's merely alongside? Well, there's no real limit to the sorts of event that we can host when we're alongside at Berth 110. We've hosted business conferences, we've hosted social gatherings, birthday parties, we've had wedding receptions on board, that was a good one. We've had filming on board. The ship stood in for the Titanic in a documentary. She was also in a period drama. She is, after all, a historic steamship. Training, she is used a lot for training. We use her for training the Sea Scouts, we've used for training the fire department, we've used her for training the police, we've used for training border patrol. There is no limit to the sort of event that the Steamship Shieldhall can accommodate when she is alongside at Berth 110. So, if you're hosting an event soon and you want to get the Steamship Shieldhall involved, if you want us to accommodate your event, then please do reach out to us. We would love to hear from you. With all that in mind, we at the charity can reveal that for the first time in many, many years, the Steamship Shieldhall charity is in the black for 2024. Now, for those of you that don't know what in the black means, this means that here at the charity, we have recovered all of our operating costs for the Steamship Shieldhall, and anything that is earned on top of that is additional proceeds that go directly into the ship. The Steamship Shieldhall charity is and always will be a non-profit charity. So anything that is earned above our operating costs are just additional revenue that goes directly into the Steamship Shieldhall's preservation. This is fantastic, but before we throw our hands up and go, yay, it is worth mentioning that just to say we're in the black does not mean in any way, shape or form that we are in the clear. Times are still tough, and the Steamship Shieldhall is definitely sailing into some turbulent waters regarding the future. The long-term effects of the pandemic are still on show for all to see. The price of fuel is still sky high, and the regulations continue to tighten, which are going to make our operations as a historic vessel ever more challenging. A public 2024 report by the National Lottery Heritage Fund went into key details about the challenges that will be faced by heritage vessels such as the Steamship Shieldhall in the near future. Some of the issues mentioned included berthing issues, specialist and basic skill requirements, cost and availability of materials, the growing regulations around climate change, and much, much more. Luckily, we address all of these challenges. However, the moment we have one problem successfully knocked on the head, another problem will rear its ugly head just as fast. It's just part of the parcel of operating Europe's largest operational historic steamship. One of our key challenges that lies ahead of us are our 2025 and 2026 dry docks. Now, we can't really say too much about these dry docks at this time. However, the costs involved of these dry docks combined, think about the sort of price tag you would expect to see for if you're buying a home in London. Anyone who's ever looked at the price of buying a home in London will suddenly get the monumental costs that lie ahead of us. Despite these challenges ahead of us, for the end of 2024, we are still in the black. But to say that we made it there purely by operating by ourselves without any help whatsoever would be a massive disservice to those that have helped us. First of all, we have to say a massive thank you to the volunteers and members who run the ship. Without them, the ship would not be able to sail at all. We also have to say a massive thank you to our commercial supporters without whom the ship would still not be able to sail, such as ABP giving us a safe home here at berth 110 in the port of Southampton. The list of all of our commercial supporters can be found in the ship's magazine, can be found on the ship's website, and are also being displayed on the screen here. We have to say a massive thank you to every single one of these names because without their help, encouragement, support, the ship would be in dire trouble indeed and we would not be able to continue our mission for maritime preservation. And of course, we have to thank you at home, however you've helped us. Be it spreading the word, be it donating to us, be it actually coming on board and sailing with us. We have so much to thank you at home for. So thank you so much. But now it's time to turn our attention to 2025 as the Steamship Shieldhall herself turns 70 years old. To celebrate this monumental year, we will be having specially themed cruises that highlight Shieldhall's specific history here in the port of Southampton. We'll be passing by some of her old loading stations when she worked for Southern Water. There will also be cruises that sail to her old dumping ground near Nab Tower near the Isle of Wight. We'll also be holding other specially themed cruises such as a 1950s themed cruise and a Titanic themed cruise. Not to mention the return of some popular cruises already, such as the Round the Island race and sailing down to the Needles. And to finish, some eagle-eyed readers of our program may have noticed that there are some big gaps in our sailing program where you would expect there to be some sailing dates. Well, we can neither confirm nor deny at this time that there will be some additional dates announced in early 2025. And so, to end 2024 on a high note and start 2025 off strong, for certain cruises only, we on board the Steamship Shieldhall are offering some of the best discounts for cruises we've ever offered. If you go onto our sailing program and use the discount code 2025, you can get access to some of the best discounts that we have ever offered in the history of the Steamship Shieldhall for our sailings. All of us here will be taking care of the Steamship Shieldhall through the winter as the days start to get longer and we prep the ship for what is going to be her biggest year yet. In the meantime though, all of us here at the charity would like to say a very happy new year to all of you and we look forward to welcoming you back on board in 2025. Thank you very much and we'll see you soon.